Naomi's mother-in-law posted a photo of her and her 9-year-old with the caption, "Some people should not be allowed to have kids." The whole family jumped in, mocking them, piling on insults, clicking like on every cruel comment. Then her husband posted this, and the whole chat went dead silent. Naomi found her daughter Lily in her room tearing up her favorite painting. Not just any painting, the one Lily had worked on for 3 days, the one she'd carried around the house like a pet, the one she'd told Naomi she was finally proud of. Half of it was already shredded on the floor when Naomi walked in. Lily didn't hear her at first. Her shoulders were shaking. Her hands were shaking. Everything in her was shaking. "Lils?" Naomi said, trying to keep her voice level. "What are you doing?" Lily froze mid-rip. Slowly, she turned her head toward her mother, eyes red, lashes clumped, face blotchy in that heartbreaking way where anyone could tell she'd tried not to cry but failed hard. "I'm fixing it," Lily whispered. "Fixing what?" Naomi asked. "Me." Those 2 syllables punched the air out of Naomi's lungs. Before she could respond, Lily reached for her phone and held it out with a trembling hand. "I didn't want to show you," Lily mumbled, "but I think you have to see." There was something about the way she said "have to" that made Naomi's heart do an ugly somersault. Naomi took the phone, and there it was, a photo of Naomi and Lily in Lily's room. Lily smiling, paint on her cheek. Naomi laughing at something Lily had said. And behind them, yes, the usual explosion of markers and art and half-finished creations. It looked like a 9-year-old with a big imagination lived there, which, shocking news, she did. Then the caption. "Some people should not be allowed to have kids." Naomi felt her pulse trip over itself. But Lily wasn't looking at the picture. Her eyes were on her mother, watching, bracing. "Grandma posted it," Lily said, "in the family chat and on Facebook. Paige sent it to me. She said Grandma is trying to warn people." Naomi swallowed hard. "Warn them about what?" Lily's lip wobbled. "Me." "What? Lily, no. Read the comments," Lily whispered, hugging her knees the way she did when she was trying not to fall apart. So Naomi scrolled. Mark's sister Brooke had commented, "This is honestly scary. Something is wrong with Lily. No normal kid's room looks like that." Aunt Carol wrote, "She looks unstable in this pic. Look at her eyes. Does she get tested for stuff?" Uncle Greg added, "That child needs help. This is more than just messy. Kids who live like this grow up with major issues." Cousin Courtney commented, "Is she medicated? My friend's kid had the same problems before they diagnosed her. Just saying." Some relative Naomi barely even knew wrote, "It's not right. That girl looks off. I'd be worried." Every line was a scalpel, slicing Lily open while she watched. Naomi scrolled further, each comment worse than the last. Brooke again. "Poor thing. She's basically being raised feral. No structure, no stability. What do you expect?" And then, like clockwork. Diane wrote again, "I've tried to help, but Naomi refuses to admit Lily has issues. This room is always like this. It's not normal. Something isn't right with her. Not, she's a messy kid. Not, she's creative. Not, maybe we should mind our own business. No, just something isn't right with her." Lily tucked her face down so her hair fell forward. "They think I'm broken," she whispered. Naomi's chest tightened. "Lily, Grandma said you shouldn't have kids," Lily said. "But I'm your kid, so she wishes you didn't have me." Lily didn't say it dramatically. She said it like a math equation, like she'd solved something. Naomi sat beside her. "Lily, look at me." She didn't, so Naomi gently moved the hair from her daughter's face. Lily's eyes were full of tears, but still searching Naomi's for the one answer that could stop everything from crashing. "There is nothing wrong with you," Naomi said. "Not one thing." Lily dropped her gaze. "Then why does everyone say there is?" "Because they're cruel. Because adults sometimes forget kids can read. Because her grandmother cared more about being right than being kind. Because this family treated different like a diagnosis. Because they're wrong," Naomi said, steady as she could. "All of them, especially Grandma." Lily nodded once, but she didn't believe her yet. Naomi could feel it. Lily sniffed and reached for another painting, her sunset one, and Naomi caught her wrist. "Why are you throwing out your art?" Naomi asked. Lily's voice cracked. "If I stop making messes, maybe they'll stop hating me." Naomi swore she saw red behind her eyelids. Before she could respond, Lily's phone buzzed in her hand. A new notification from the family group chat. Of course, because what 9-year-old didn't need another blow before bedtime? Naomi clicked. More comments were rolling in, like everyone had suddenly remembered they had opinions they forgot to weaponize earlier. Naomi's father-in-law, Leonard, wrote, "Kids don't act like this unless something's off, and Naomi just enables it." Some uncle named Roger, apparently, added, "Looks like a cry for help, honestly. That child's environment is not normal." Another relative wrote, "This explains her behavior. I thought she just lacked discipline, but something deeper is happening." Naomi's vision blurred. Then the next notification hit. "Mark is typing." Lily looked up fast. "Dad?" Naomi nodded slowly. Mark hated confrontation. If he was typing something in the family thread, it was either a grocery list or the end of days. Lily leaned against her, quiet now, watching that blinking dot like it was counting down to something. Naomi slipped the phone out of Lily's hands before anything came through. Lily didn't ask why, she just folded into her mother's side. The dots blinked, stopped, started again. Naomi's chest tightened. Mark had no idea Lily had seen the post. No idea she was sitting right beside Naomi, waiting to see which version of her father would show up. Then the typing bubble disappeared. No message, just an empty screen and a 9-year-old trying not to breathe too loudly. "Mom?" Lily whispered. Naomi kept her arm around her daughter, eyes on the screen that had gone still. At the time, it felt like nothing, just another pause in a day full of them. Looking back, Naomi would know that silence mattered far more than she realized. In the moment, it was just Naomi and Lily pressed together, waiting for whatever came next. If anyone wanted to know how they got here, how a grandmother ended up publicly diagnosing a child like she was auditioning for best amateur psychologist with 0 credentials, they had to understand one thing. Diane did not believe in mess, not disliked it, not preferred things tidy. No, Diane treated mess the way other people treated venomous snakes, with fear, disgust, and the deep spiritual conviction that it only happened because someone had failed morally. Naomi learned that the first time Diane walked into their apartment back when Naomi and Mark were dating. Naomi had 3 mugs in the sink and a stack of unopened mail on the counter. Diane surveyed the scene like she'd stumbled into a crime documentary. "Wow," Diane said. "You live like this?" Naomi laughed because she thought Diane meant it jokingly. She did not. That was Naomi's first red flag. The second was how fast Mark apologized for her. That was years ago, before Lily was even a twinkle in Naomi's uterus. Back when Naomi still believed she could win Diane over with baked goods and polite conversation. Back when she didn't realize that Diane considered creative a synonym for broken. The third red flag was Brooke, Mark's sister. Brooke was the blueprint. Perfect home, perfect children, perfect hair that probably had its own social media following. Her kids, Tyler and Paige, Lily's cousins, were held up as the family gold standard. Their rooms looked like catalog displays. White bedding, labeled bins, plants that somehow didn't die. Lily's room looked like a craft store after a grenade went off, but in a charming way if you had a soul. Every time Brooke visited, she found a new way to say, "Your child is weird," without actually using those words. "She's very imaginative," Brooke would say, staring at Lily's wall of taped drawings like they were visual proof of everything she feared in life. Or, "Paige never needed so much stimulation. Maybe Lily gets overstimulated easily, if she's sensitive." Sensitive, scattered, unstable, different, always coded, always pointed, always concern, wrapped in a thin tortilla of judgment. And Diane ate it up. She loved comparing the cousins, loved the way Paige lined up her crayons and Lily made entire universes out of scrap paper and glitter. But not in the kids are unique and wonderful kind of way. No, she treated it like a morality tale. Good child versus whatever Lily was supposed to be. Naomi didn't know when Diane decided Lily's creativity wasn't just mess, it was pathology. But it happened quietly, gradually, a comment here, a comment there. Lily gets overwhelmed easily. Lily doesn't seem to know how to calm herself. Lily's room gives me anxiety. Once, and Naomi would never forget this, Diane bent down in front of Lily, who was 6 at the time, and said with deadly serious grandma concern, "Sweetie, does it feel confusing inside your head? Because it looks confusing in here." Lily had just blinked. Naomi had nearly bit through her tongue. But Mark, he had said nothing. Not because he agreed. Truth was, he adored Lily. But because silence was how he survived his childhood. If Diane was the queen of order, Mark was the dutiful knight who didn't complain even when the armor cut into his skin. And this was the part Naomi never wanted to look at too closely. Diane's obsession with order wasn't just about cleanliness. It was about control. Control she exerted with her voice. Control she maintained with guilt. And control she enforced with money. Well, Naomi and Mark's money. See, Mark being the responsible child apparently came with a subscription fee. It started small, just like all financial manipulation does. "Could you help with the electric bill this month? We're short on groceries. Can you pitch in? Gas is expensive. Could you transfer a little? Oh, and since you're dropping Lily off, could you Venmo me for snacks?" Then it became automatic. A monthly transfer Mark set up temporarily, which somehow became permanent. He never told Naomi the exact amount until recently. She always assumed it was small. Spoiler, it wasn't small. And the funniest part? The money wasn't even just coming from some corporate ladder Mark climbed. A chunk of it was coming from Naomi, the person Diane sneered at for being too artsy to take life seriously. Naomi was a graphic designer. Her entire income was built on colors, sketches, scribbles, mood boards, half-finished ideas taped to the fridge. Lily didn't inherit her creativity from nowhere. She got it straight from her mother, the same chaotic streak Diane loved to diagnose like it was a hereditary condition. And yet somehow Naomi's chaotic streak was helping pay Diane's electric bill. The irony was nauseating. It wasn't just the monthly transfer. It was the constant little emergencies, the soft-voiced guilt trips. Once, Mark asked if Naomi could cover $120 for his parents' urgent groceries because he'd already sent too much that month. Naomi didn't want to. She did it anyway. Fighting felt petty. Saying no felt ungrateful. That's how it always went. Naomi hadn't connected the dots until now. The comments, the criticism, the money, the control. Different heads of the same monster. Lily was curled beside her, trying to make herself smaller, and Mark's typing bubble flickered at the bottom of the chat. Naomi didn't know what he was about to say. She just knew things weren't going back to the way they were. The message dropped while Lily was in the bathroom brushing her teeth. Naomi didn't breathe while she read it. "Mom, you posted a picture of my wife and my daughter and invited the whole family to talk about what is wrong with a 9-year-old. That is not concern. That is cruel. If you think my child is defective, you do not belong in her life. You've been happy to take our money for years, but you have no problem insulting us. That ends now. If you need help, ask Brooke. I should have said this a long time ago. This is the last message you'll get from me. Mark. No extra lines, no emojis, no love you but, just that. Naomi stared at it so hard, her eyes hurt. For a second, nothing happened. Then under his message, Mark left the group. If someone had never watched a group chat lose its favorite toy, Naomi could have told them. The silence was almost funny. If she hadn't been shaking, she might have laughed. Nobody reacted. Nobody hearted. Nobody wow-faced. It was like the whole family's Wi-Fi cut out at the same time. Then finally, Cousin Josh. Whoa. Aunt Carol. Did he just leave? Brooke. What is going on? Naomi backed out of the chat before she could start doom-scrolling her in-laws' confusion. She didn't need to watch them pretend they had no idea how they'd gotten here. From down the hall, the bathroom door creaked open. Mom, Lily called, can I spit now, or will Grandma post that too? The joke was weak, but the fact that she made one at all felt like a small miracle. Spit away, Naomi said, her voice way steadier than she felt. Lily padded into the bedroom a minute later, hair damp, pajamas on, face clean, but still puffy from crying. Did he send it? She asked, climbing onto the bed beside her mother. Yeah, Naomi said. He sent it. What did Dad say? Naomi thought about showing Lily the whole thing, letting her see every word. Then she imagined her daughter reading defective again and decided she liked Lily's nervous system intact. He told them what they did was wrong, Naomi said. He told them they don't get to talk about you like that, and he told them this was the last time. Lily twisted a loose thread on the duvet. Are they mad? Probably, Naomi said. Her phone buzzed. Mark's name lit up the screen. Naomi stepped into the hallway to answer. Hey, she started, but he cut in. Is she okay? His voice wasn't angry or shaky, just urgent. She saw it, Naomi said. She saw everything. A beat of silence. Not long, but heavy. Okay, he said finally. I'm almost home. That was it. No rambling, no panic. Just a decision landing. He hung up. Lily was sitting cross-legged on the bed when he walked in a few minutes later, holding herself still the way kids do when they're scared of tipping anything over. Mark went straight to her. You didn't do anything wrong, he told her, kneeling so they were eye level. Not one thing. What they wrote was wrong. Not you, Lily breathed out, like she'd been holding it all evening. Okay, she whispered. Can I sleep in your room tonight? Yeah, go pick a pillow, Naomi said. We're doing a family sleepover tonight. That got the smallest smile. Lily slid off the bed and padded down the hall. The door clicked shut behind her. Mark didn't pause. He walked straight to the dining table, opened his laptop, and started clicking like he was defusing a bomb only he knew how to handle. Naomi didn't ask what he was doing. She didn't have to. His shoulders told her everything. Tight, precise, done. A few minutes later, he closed the laptop with a quiet thud. Then Naomi's phone rang. Diane. Naomi looked at him. Mark gave a single nod. Naomi put it on speaker. What is this? Diane snapped immediately. You leave the chat? You embarrass us in front of the whole family? What kind of tantrum is this? Mark didn't flinch. It wasn't a tantrum. You're being ridiculous, Diane said. You don't mean that message. You're under stress. Naomi is filling your head with... Stop, Mark said. Calm, flat. The kind of voice that ended conversations, not started them. You owe us, Leonard barked in the background. We raised you. We supported you. You don't get to just walk away. I already did, Mark said. Diane let out a scoff, sharp enough to cut drywall. Fine, be dramatic. You're still covering the insurance next week, and your father's card is due, and the— No, Mark said. A long, stunned pause. What do you mean, no? Leonard demanded. I'm not paying for anything anymore. Another silence, this one sharper, confused. Naomi could almost hear Diane trying to do the math. You will, Diane said finally, brittle. Once you calm down, once you realize how ungrateful you're being. Mark didn't give her the satisfaction of a sigh. I'm not paying for anything ever again. You can't just cut us off, she snapped. You think you can, but you can't. You need to come to your senses. Mark looked at Naomi, then at the phone. This is me in my senses. You're throwing away your family, Diane hissed. You made that decision when you posted that picture, he said. Not me. Diane went quiet for the first time all night. Then, we'll speak again when you're being reasonable. No, Mark said, you won't. He ended the call. Just ended it. No dramatic flourish, no trembling hand. Just a thumb and a finality that felt heavier than anything he'd ever said out loud. He set the phone down and exhaled once, steady, not shaky. From down the hall, Lily called, Dad, which pillow do you want? Mark's eyes softened. Whichever one you pick, he called back. He turned to Naomi. His voice was low, certain, a man who had finally cut the right wire. This isn't over, he said, not after what they did. And Naomi knew he was right. If anyone had ever watched someone lose control of a narrative they were so sure they owned, they'd know the exact sound Diane made 2 days later. It was the digital equivalent of a scream. Diane Harper posted in Glenford Neighborhood Families, a public group, thousands of members, local moms, DESA teachers, PTA addicts, the type of people who posted lost cat flyers and argued about parking etiquette. And there, in front of all of Glenford, was Lily's room again. Except this time, the caption wasn't, "Some people should not be allowed to have kids." No, this version was much more insidious. I never wanted to post this, but I'm so worried for my granddaughter. I expressed gentle concern about her living conditions and was cut off by my son and his wife. We supported them financially for years, and this is how they treat us. Please tell me, am I overreacting? Doesn't this look unsafe for a child? A few things happened in Naomi's body simultaneously. Her jaw clenched, her stomach dropped, and some kind of quiet, murderous calm settled in behind her ribs. Gentle concern, she muttered out loud. Is that what we're calling diagnosing a 9-year-old as defective now? And the finance part. Supported them for years. Naomi nearly snorted coffee out of her nose. Lily was at school. Mark was at work. Naomi was alone with her phone, reading strangers' comments trickle in. User 1. This is so sad, Diane. Looks like neglect, to be honest. User 2. Some parents are too sensitive when you try to help them. User 3. Brooke. Obviously. You did everything right, Mom. You're just worried for Lily. Of course Brooke was there, probably refreshing the page like she was bidding on eBay. Naomi's fingers shook. Not with fear, just disbelief at how familiar this pattern was. Diane loses control. Diane rewrites reality. Diane begs for public validation. Diane's loyal foot soldier, Brooke, arrives with complimentary tissues and gasoline. Then a comment from someone Naomi didn't know. User 8. If the child's room is really like this, honestly, the grandma has a point. You know what? Fine. Enough. Naomi screenshotted the post. She screenshotted the comments. She screenshotted every instance of Diane pretending to be Mother Teresa of cleanliness. Then she texted Mark. You need to see what your mother just did. He replied almost instantly. On my way home. Good. Because if Naomi had to sit with this information alone much longer, she was going to start redesigning the concept of consequences. The door opened 20 minutes later. Mark walked in with that same steel backbone energy he'd had the night he finally stopped tolerating their nonsense, except now it carried a quiet edge. "Where is it?" he asked. Naomi handed him her phone. He read, jaw tight, eyes narrowing slightly at each line. He paused at the "we supported them financially" sentence. Then he exhaled slowly. "Okay," he said. "She picked the wrong lie today." He walked to the table, sat down, and pulled out his own phone. Naomi thought he was going to rant, or call Diane, or, God forbid, try to reason with the unreasonable. But no, he typed. A single precise, lethal comment under Diane's post. Naomi watched over his shoulder. "Mom, please stop. You didn't express concern. You publicly insulted Lily, encouraged comments diagnosing her, and used her photo without permission. Also, you haven't supported us financially. I've sent you $26,400 over the last 3 years. This is the last time I'll correct your version of events. Do not post our daughter again." Then he posted one screenshot, the original comment thread where Diane and her cheerleaders called Lily unstable, off, feral, defective. The room went dead quiet. Every hair on Naomi's arm stood up. Because in the hierarchy of Harper family disasters, this was Mark dropping the nuclear code. And Glenford neighborhood families noticed. The comments reversed faster than a church group finding out their pastor had a secret OnlyFans. User 1. "Wait, what? That's not concern. That's straight up mean." User 6. "I didn't see these comments before. This changes things." User 4. "Posting a kid's room to shame her is not okay." Brooke tried to mop up the mess. "Brooke, this is being taken out of context. We were all joking." User 7. "Joking about a 9-year-old needing medication? That was a joke?" Then, User 10. "Diane, this isn't a good look." And the one that sent Diane spiraling. User 12. "I'm with Mark. Don't involve a child in your family drama." Naomi watched Diane try to claw it back in real time. "Mark is lying. He's being manipulated. We did support them emotionally. Naomi turned him against us." And then, oh, the cherry on top. "We will be contacting a lawyer about visitation rights." Mark barked a single humorless laugh. "Sure," he whispered. "Let's go to court and show the judge the post where you said our daughter looks unstable. That'll go great." Within minutes, the comment section devolved into that awkward, polite silence people adopted when they realized they'd sided with the villain. Diane stopped replying. The post faded under newer ones about lost dogs and bake sales. But the damage to her reputation? Permanent. At least, that's what Naomi thought. Until 7:14 that evening. The doorbell rang. Lily was on the couch with them, sketching birds. Naomi and Mark froze at the same time. They didn't need to look through the window. They could feel who it was. Mark opened the door only halfway, and there they were, Diane and Leonard, looking less like conquerors and more like two people attempting PR damage control before the next board meeting. "Mark," Diane said tightly, "we need to talk." "No," Mark said. "Don't be childish," she snapped. "The online drama has gone far enough. We can move past this." "You humiliated our daughter," Mark said. "We're not moving past anything," Diane scoffed. "I posted because I was worried, and instead of thanking me, you cut us off. You're acting like a lunatic." "Mom," Mark said, voice low, patient. "You lied. Again. You twisted what happened. Again. And you dragged Lily into it. Again." Leonard stepped forward. "You owe us a conversation. You owe us respect." "I don't owe you anything," Mark replied. And then Diane went for the classic hallmark of a narcissistic collapse. "We will speak when you come to your senses." Mark didn't blink. "There won't be a next time." Behind Naomi, Lily peeked around the couch corner, watching her father set fire to generations of conditioning with his bare hands. "Mark," Diane tried again, voice cracking just slightly. "You're choosing her over us?" He answered instantly. "Yes, and I should have done it a long time ago." He shut the door. No slamming, no theatrics, just a quiet end to a decades-long performance. And somewhere behind that closed door, Naomi could swear she felt something enormous shifting. Not in Diane, not in Leonard, in them, in their home, in Lily's world. For the first time, the air felt breathable. And for the first time, Naomi knew the next chapter wasn't going to be about Diane and Leonard at all. It was going to be about them. 6 months later, the silence was still holding. Diane and Leonard never contacted them again, not directly. Brooke tried once. She called to inform them, in her most wounded princess voice, that Mom and Dad expect you to resume helping them financially. Mark just said, "That's your problem now," and hung up. She didn't try again. They only heard updates through the Glenford grapevine, which, unfortunately for Diane, had a long memory. Her concerned grandma post had backfired hard. People still whispered. They avoided her at PTA meetings. Someone told Naomi that Diane tried to volunteer at a school fair and ended up working a booth alone because no one would share a table with her. And then, the kicker, Diane and Leonard had to sell their house. They downsized to something smaller, cheaper, and much farther away. Action, consequences, etc. Meanwhile, Naomi's and Mark's life? Better than they ever imagined. All the money Mark used to funnel into that black hole stayed with them now. They took Lily on her first real vacation. They even visited Naomi's parents more. Turns out, there was a lot more emotional room when they weren't constantly managing other people's expectations. Lily was drawing almost every day. She told Naomi she might want to be an artist when she grew up. Naomi told her she already was. So, what did people think? Had they gone too far or not far enough? Naomi put those questions into the world the way she'd put the rest of the story there, and she ended her post the same way she'd begun telling it in her head. Let me know in the comments and subscribe for more.